And what is some of the impact that you're seeing as a result of your focus the last couple of years?
We saw the opportunity to focus on what we found the most meaningful in our advertising careers, which was to help people grow professionally. And specifically, we saw a need for leadership training in the world. We knew it was sorely lacking. We knew that it was the norm for people to be promoted and to need to make a radical series of shifts to be successful leaders, but we're not empowered with any formal training around how to do that. So we saw people falling on their face over and over again. And even as people who had this huge interest in mentoring and who made it a hallmark of our careers, in the last several years of our careers, the pace was so blistering, we were falling behind on helping people to grow. And we interviewed people around the world just to do a reality check. Is it just us, or are you too observing that there's this huge need state? And it was just reinforced to us by everyone we spoke to in creative role and leadership roles. Yeah, I'm in trouble because the people I've promoted actually are terrible with clients. They're not good at actually leading others and inspiring others or directing others, and I've got a real problem on my hands. And people were kind of owning, that as the current top leadership, they weren't supporting their people in this way, and there was a big price being paid for it, literally all the way to losing business and losing valued people that didn't want to work for people who couldn't lead well. So we got to the point as creative leaders that we were both restless to do something else, and we knew we had the opportunity really to use our talents and our skills in a different way. And we both, I guess having gone through our careers mostly together, not shocking, at the same time, just about, we had this interest in moving on. And we actually painted ourselves into a corner by telling our CEO we were really done with that job. And we actually didn't know exactly what we were going to do, but we put them on notice that, we needed the planning needed to happen accordingly, that we were interested in moving on. So from there, we spent quite a lot of time thinking through what does this look like? What can this look like to pack up our skill set and help people in a whole new way and with totally different focus. And so Swim was, really long story short, Swim was born after a great deal of planning and thought. And we had a fantastic transition, from the creative director job into this new world. We left on terrific terms with Ogilvy. They gave us tremendous amount of jobs, actually, because they saw the tremendous value they could have in us showing up and helping so many of their people lead more effectively. So today we're working with a lot of ad agencies. We still have the lion's share of what we do is in partnership with ad agencies, including great places like Droga 5 and the Martin Agency and DDB and a long list of wonderful groups. But we work with people across all disciplines, not just the creative department. And we do work outside of advertising as well, more and more. So it's interesting to have found that the challenges people face as they go into their leadership roles are so universal, and it can cut across levels of experience. You can find people that have been at the top for years and years, struggling with some of the same issues that the new leader is going to walk into, and across industries. The basic challenges are the same. So we've found, if our fingers were crossed in the beginning, hope this works out. We did find that our insights and our learning was landing really well, that it was highly relevant, and the model that we created was was really found to help learning, make for a good learning experience. So we know that we can't teach people by boring them to death. So we try to keep it a very experiential kind of learning, and we bring in people from many different fields who tend to be creative in some way that can augment what our messages are through different lenses. So that's something that I think sets apart the way we approach it. And the outcomes have been amazing. We have seen many people, with new perspectives and some new tools, report back to us that they're finding so much more success in everything from selling better work more often to seeing people under them really flourish, and they're enjoying greater loyalty as better leaders that are more empathetic, that listen to their people better, that have more open communication with everybody around them. So it's very rewarding work. It's the kind of thing that people hug you for, which is awesome. Lots of hugging going on, and
Yeah,
lots of nice thank you notes.
I like the idea of selling better work more often.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of a big promise that we that we make is, that's the bottom line. In the end, everybody's going to do better. Everybody, the leader's going to be responsible for all kinds of good outcomes, and that's probably at the top of a lot of our clients' lists. Is yes, I want to see better work coming out of my company.
So what do you want to be remembered for? That's either individually or together.
You know how to ask the profound questions. I think for me, I want to be remembered for having demonstrated that partnership is an excellent model, that you don't have to do everything on your own, and that you are stronger if you link arms with someone else, with the right someone else. In my case, Nancy. I would want us to be remembered for having not accepted the status quo, and having made some choices that weren't always popular, and have been willing to take the hit for that, because in the end it worked out okay most of the time. Doesn't always work out, but you have to get into the habit of being able to take the hit, or it never works out. And hopefully it all sounds so earnest, and I hate that because I'm not really that earnest. But helping women see that they can do it, and that there's many ways to do it. That there isn't just one way. That your way is a good way if you just bear in mind, some things that can help you think the issues through, and also for being a good mom.
Good stuff.
Well, I'll keep it simple because she just shared such a wonderful list. So me too, and, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Pays to go first.
Oh, yeah. Then I wouldn't knowing that I'll keep it really short. I can only feel like I can't live up to Janet's excellent way of summing it all up. But I think that if I can be thought of as a generous mentor, that's very, very rewarding to me. And I think that's what we do now. We did it in our previous, advertising lives. and now much more mindfully so and with more focus. So I just find that an incredible compliment to be called a good mentor by others, and to show up but with generosity, which I think we had great models. We had great role models before us that showed what a beautiful path that is. And so I would find that a great thing to be, a great way to be described as at the end of the day.
Me too. Everything she said, I said, and everything I said, she said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there someone that you know who is outside of the public spotlight, but doing something important that's having an impact on the world that we should know about?
I would highlight two people that are people that I know well, who I think are doing wonderful things in small spheres and big ones, and both of them work in the nonprofit world. And one of them is my oldest friend, and she works for an organization here in Toronto that's called New Circles, that works with new Canadians, and essentially what it is a store that collects all of its goods from that. They're all secondhand things from people like me and people with way, walk-in-ear closets than mine. But it allows women and men and kids who can't afford gear to be able to look for jobs and go to school and not be laughed at and things like that. But they also work in the store. So it's this virtuous circle of they get the clothes, and they also work in the store and learn skills that allow them to go out into the workforce. And to me, it's such a small, it seems like such a small thing, but it's actually really profound in people's lives. And so that organization is called New Circles. And the other is a friend of Nancy and mine named Alnur Lada, who is currently living in South Africa. And he is the greatest activist I personally know. And he heads an organization called The Rules, and it's to be found at therules.org. And he has, with a bunch of other people, taken on the spectacularly large mission of allowing the global South to determine its own way out of poverty and all of the issues that plague them, rather than the global North deciding it can solve problems for everyone. So those two people are my most admired people out in the real world.
Good.
And there's such a long list of people, of course, most of the people that are making a difference in the world are not household names. And I'll say one who maybe he's right on the brink of being a household name, actually, but another friend of ours is named Mick Ebeling. You knew I was going to say that, didn't you? He actually is mentioned in the book as if without his voice, the book would definitely not have happened. And he, because he is the friend who was honest enough to say, just do it, damn it. We'd hit many roadblocks along the way to actually delivering that manuscript. There were many big challenges to doing it. And at one point I said to him, Mick, it's just not going to happen. We have to tell HarperCollins. We just can't do it. It's just impossible. And I gave him this long list of reasons that it couldn't happen. And he was having none of it. He had no patience for that sob story at all. And he said, you know what? You're going to look back and be so sorry that you just did. He said, there will never be a good time to do it. It's like having a baby. There's never going to be a good time to do it. and you need to just do what